Hi, guys. Lola, that's Lola back there. Lo, say hi.
Hi.
Lola has promised that she's going to be a good girl and play with her Legos so Mommy can do this when she's going to be nice and quiet the whole time.
Mommy.
What?
Please not tell them about my Legos.
I'm sorry.
Stop.
Lola's got Legos, everybody.
Mommy, no! No, I told you not to.
Anyway, I want to remind you that the book Bloom is May 29th at 6:30. Remember that there's going to be a ton of different events there that night. The Cultural Diversity Fair will be there. The talent show is that night. Everybody's projects will be out. It's going to be fantastic. I'm super excited. So I'm going to get right to it and tell you about 3 more books. And I chose these books to tell you about together because I think each of the main characters in this book feels isolated in a different way. And the first one I love because it's so kind of sarcastic and moody, and for every teenage guy out there who has spent some time being angry, I feel like this is the perfect book for you. This is called Reality Boy by A.S. King. She's written Ask the Passengers, Everybody Sees the Ants, and something Vera Dietz. What is that? Please Ignore Vera Dietz. I haven't read Please Ignore Vera Dietz. That's supposed to be very good. But Ask the Passengers was great, and so was Everybody Sees the Ants. And she actually lives in Pennsylvania, not far from us. She still is an up-and-coming author, but I think what I love about Reality Boy is that there's this sarcasm to it, and it's funny, but there's also anger there, and it's a guy trying to explain what it's like to be that angry all the time and have to live with what he has to live with. And the idea of the story is really that there's this teenage boy who, as a child, was on like Nanny 911, one of those like reality shows, and when he gets older, he's only remembered for that. And even though it wasn't his fault, he was only 5 at the time, he has to live with the life that was shown about him broadcast to millions of people. And this is what it says. I'm the kid you saw on TV. Remember the little freak who took a crap on his parents' oak-stained kitchen table when they confiscated his Game Boy? Remember how the camera cleverly hid his most private parts with the glittery fake daisy and sunflower centerpiece? That was me. Gerald, youngest of 3, only boy, out of control. One time, I did it on the dressing room at the mall. Sears, I think. My mom was trying to get me to try on some pants, and she got the wrong size. Now you stay right here, she said. I'll be back with the right size. And to protest having to wait, or having to try on pants, or having a mother like her, I dropped one right there between the wicker chair and the stool where Mom's purse was. And no, it wasn't excusable. I wasn't a baby. I wasn't even a toddler. I was 5. I was sending a message. You all watched and gasped and put your hands over your eyes as 3 different cameramen caught 3 different angles of me squeezing one out on the living room coffee table next to the cranberry-scented holiday candle ensemble. 2 guys held boom mics. They tried to keep straight faces, but they couldn't, and one of them said, "Push it out, kid." He just couldn't help himself. I was so entertaining. Right? Wasn't I? Gerald, the spoiled little brat. Gerald, the kid who threw violent tantrums that left holes in the drywall and who screamed so loud it made the neighbors call the police. Gerald, the messed up little freak who needed network nanny's wagging finger and 3 steps to success. Now I'm a junior in high school, and every kid in my class has seen 40 different angles of me crapping in various places when I was little. They call me the crapper. When I complained to the adults in my life back in middle school, they said, "Fame has its downside." Fame? I was 5. At 5 years old, did I have the capacity to write the producers a letter begging network nanny to come and help me stop punching the walls of my parents' swanky McMansion? No, I did not have that capacity. I did not write that letter. I did not want her to come. But she came anyway, so I got madder. This is called Reality Boy by A.S. King.
Mommy,
Yeah.
did the little boy in there?
He's
He's
5.
the same age as me.
I know, it's so exciting. The next one I want to tell you about is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. She's a newer writer. This is her first book. However, it turned into a trilogy. Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and the third one is Ignite Me. They are all out. I have all three in my room, and I actually think Miss O'Rell has all three as well. We've been passing these around really for a good part of the year. She's married to Ransom Riggs, who wrote Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and his books are also insanely cool. He's a photojournalist, and his books have pictures all through them. I almost picked that one for the book bloom, but it didn't make the final cut. Her book, though, is crazy cool. I loved Shatter Me. Again, it's just about this girl who's feeling isolated, and she's feeling isolated because she can't be touched. Her touch is deadly, and because her touch is deadly, she's been imprisoned by the government because they want to use her as a weapon. But she spent her whole life never having had anybody, including her parents, her family, everybody she's loved, lay a finger on her. She's lived in complete and total isolation. And I love the book because the story is really unique. There's this love triangle. There's a lot of action. It kind of takes me in directions I didn't expect for it to go. But I also love when the author does something kind of a little kooky with the writing. And Tahereh Mafi does that. So if you can see on the back cover, in blue it says, I have a gift. I'm more than human. My touch is power. I will fight back. But then crossed out it says, I have a curse. I'm a monster. My touch is lethal. I am their weapon. That, and I don't know if there's actually a name for it, but that type of writing where she writes but crosses out certain ideas, but they're intentionally left there so you can still see them, I think it adds something really interesting. So, like, here it says, you're getting a cellmate, and then she crosses it out and says, roommate, they said to me. We hope you rot to death in this place. For good behavior, they said to me. Another psycho just like you. No more isolation, they said to me. So she does this throughout the book, the way of telling the truth of what she really believes is going to happen to her, but crossing it out to show what other people are thinking and saying. This book will keep you totally riveted. I thought the characters were fascinating. I think the ending to this and the ending to the entire trilogy is not what you expect, but it's very satisfying. I loved this book. It's definitely one of my favorites this year. It's called Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. And I wanted to mention, too, every single one of these authors that I have this year, you can follow on Twitter. I follow all of them. And they are really interesting, too. Tahereh Mafi's one of them. She travels a lot. She's a really interesting character. So feel free to share this. The last one I want to tell you about is a book that I feel like every single person should read. Not just every single student, but every single teacher, every single parent. Every single one of you should read this book. If there has ever been a time in your life where you have felt isolated, sitting in a room full of people, and yet you feel like you're the only one there. If you've ever had that feeling, then this book is for you. And I feel like we've all been there. We've all been that kid, and we've also all seen that kid sitting in the classroom who doesn't fit and doesn't make sense with the rest of us. And that's really what the story is about. The story is called Wonder. It's by R.J. Palacio. Shh. I know. It's okay. By R.J. Palacio. And it's about this boy named Augie who has a severe facial deformity. It says on the back, I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking, it's probably worse. And I think he has never been able to come to terms with his deformity, or he's tried to the best that he can. But no matter where he goes, everybody stares. And his parents spent the majority of his life homeschooling him. And then they decide that it's time for him to go to public school. And so for the first time in his life, Augie has to step into a classroom and face students and face the staring and try to find a way past it and try to find a way to fit in. And you can imagine how incredibly hard something like that has to be. And Augie is this character that you absolutely fall in love with. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. It's not about that. He's beautiful, and he's bright, and he's haunted, and he's tortured, and he's so intelligent beyond his years. And for him to deal with the kind of life he has to face every day, RJ Palacio does an amazing job of making that come to life on these pages. And the people that Augie meets, even though some of them are horrible, some of them are so empowering, and they shape this child and let him become a person like he's never been able to be before. I feel like this is a book that every single kid in our school should read. I think every teacher should read it, every staff member, because it reminds us all how hard it is to be different, because we all feel that way sometimes. And I think that anybody who gets this book is going to love it. It's one of my absolute favorite books that I have ever read. I would put it easily in my top 10. And I just can't say enough good things about it. I've passed it on already to a number of teachers who have also read it. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful novel. I love it so much. I wish I could put it in the hands of every single one of you. This is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. So, those are the 3 books I wanted to tell you about today. Wonder by R.J. Palacio, Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi, and Reality Boy by A.S. King. There will be over 400 books there that night, so I promise you there is something for everybody. I cannot wait to see you. I'm excited about it. The talent show kids are excited about it. There will be a number of teachers there. It's a huge night to kind of send out the school year with a bang. We cannot wait to see you, and I will be back tomorrow with 3 more book choices. Lola, can you say bye?
Bye.
Are you coming to the book bloom?
What?
What?